The term regressive or regressive liberal has been used widely recently, and many people have trouble understanding what it means. Here I'm giving my explanation and examples of regressive views that harm our Western societies. In a nutshell, tolerance and political correctness are above freedom of speech and competition of ideas. That is what regressive means. Generally, regressives are those liberals who advocate limiting freedom of speech and other backward practices in favor of protecting someone's feelings, preserving multiculturalism. Those liberals who choose to be silent and to try to silence others about serious problems in the world for the sake of calmness. They stick their heads in the sand, and God rightfully calls them Ostrich Brigade. This massively leads to tolerating things that should not be tolerated. Intolerance, bullying, violence, hate, rape, and gradual corruption of the Western way of life. Let's see some examples. Example 1. What is happening in the American universities like Yale, when huge numbers of students believe that the First Amendment is obsolete, is an alarmingly regressive thing. Professors are bullied to resign for idiotic reasons. Educational system is getting gradually destroyed. Western values are eroding. Example 2. The worldview that Islam is just a religion and doesn't deserve any special attention is dangerously regressive. Islam clearly stands out. It is not just another religion. Islam is a uniquely comprehensive political system, unlike Christianity and other religions. Islam explicitly is against freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of minorities, freedom of sexual self-identification, and many more freedoms that we have gained through centuries of reformation and social progress. Liberals who advocate free spread of Islam in the West and attack those who call for reform in Islam are ignorant, and their ideas are harmful. They contribute to backward transformation of the Western societies. Look at Sweden, look at Germany these days. Read books by Ayaan Hirsi Ali and Majid Nawaz for in-depth analysis of this. You might think that Christianity is also against progress because many Christians want theocracy and they want to ban gay marriage. My answer is this. Two problems do not cancel each other out. They exacerbate each other. They both need to be addressed. Islam is orders of magnitude more toxic and more aggressive in the modern world. And I address Christianity in my other videos. Example 3. Trying to equate all countries and to blame the West for all the world's problems. When Noam Chomsky is talking about USSR or Russia in the same way as he is talking about Western democracies, it is highly regressive. This is really mind-blowing. How can a liberal talk about a truly malevolent totalitarian regime that violates almost all possible human rights, from electing own governments to the rights of minorities, in the same way as he is talking about the UK or the US, where we have political responsibility, independent courts, and independent mass media? How on earth can you ignore the fact that you would not be sitting and talking on a national TV there in Russia or in Saudi Arabia, criticizing their government in the same way as you are doing it here in the West? That is astonishingly regressive. Example 4. Removing important analytical variables like race and religious background from analyzing the burning social problems like violence and education under the umbrella of fighting against stereotypes is regressive. When you are publishing crime statistics and school test scores, it is regressive to remove details to hide the uncomfortable truths about social problems. By this, you deprive people from their right to know the truth, and by hiding and ignoring problems, you are not contributing to solving them. On the contrary, you are contributing to the uncontrolled growth of these problems. One of the main features of the regressive worldview is that they betray their supposedly liberal principles. By being silent and by silencing the discussion or changing the topic to the self-blaming, they turn a blind eye on millions of the oppressed and suffering women and people of minorities in the Muslim majority countries. They betray the killed journalists and human rights activists in Russia, as well as millions of people who are robbed of their rights to elect their own governments. They betray thousands of killed black people in the streets by silencing the discussion about domestic crimes and obscuring the respective crime data.